What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for The Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 6, episode number 11. No business like shade business. Alright, you guys, so before we get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and are not yet subscribed to the channel, then I'm going to need you guys to do me a big favor and stop taking me out on this date. And do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell button, hit the like button, share the video, do all that good stuff, right, you guys? Now with that out the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss this episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Alright, guys, so not like a lot happened. So I guess we'll start up with Robin real quick. So we see Robin and Juan, they're going out and they're looking for a warehouse so that Robin can put her hats in. Is Robin's business doing that good? Like, I ain't being funny or nothing, but if it's doing that good, congratulations to her. But I just wouldn't expect to. Well, never mind. So they look at the space, right? So the space that they looked at is about $17,000 to $2,000 a month. I'm like, well, damn, that's a lot of money, right? But if your business is bringing in, X amount of dollars, it shouldn't be an issue, right? But then Robin hit Juan with the you guys know that they're building a house, right? And she told him that the house is over budget, and they're over budget by $100,000. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of money, girl. You got it like that? Like Real Housewives of Potomac is paying you that much for no storyline? Okay. Hey, who am I to judge, right? But it was at this episode I was looking at it in particular with Robin and with Candace, because you guys know I am on my journey to owning a home and building my first home. So I'm on that journey and I'm just like, damn, I know what I want in my house, but damn, I don't want to spend a whole lot of money, right? But yeah. So then Robin tells Juan that, the way that he, his way of coaching is not really conducive for her, right? Because it feels like he just, blowing a whistle at her, and she would just prefer for him to be more soft, more delicate with her, basically. He says, have a girl. She's like, so if I had a girl, you would be a little bit easier on me? He says, yes. But then he ultimately agrees to take it a little bit easier on Robin. He says he'll do better. All right, you guys. So let's move on. All right, you guys. Next up, let's talk about Ashley. Like I said, in this episode, it wasn't much, so this actually gives me filler. Oh, the Emmys. That's why. I was just trying to figure out, why was this episode such a filler-filling episode? The Emmys were on last night, right? So let's talk about Ashley. So she and her boys, they go over to her, I guess, I don't know whose house that is. I don't know if that's Sheila's house or if that's Uncle Lump's house. Somebody's house she went over to, right? Now, here's the thing. Last night celebrated the 100th episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac, right? So Bravo asked the fans, on Twitter, what was your favorite moment of this, this show, right? People's favorite moment. Candace getting her ass beat by Monique. I'm like, really? Y'all gotta grow up, right? And then somebody said, well, the moment when Ashley said, we're in your mother's house. And I posed the question, what would you rather? I'd rather be in my mother's house that is paid for than that tent that Sheila was living her raggedy ass in at one point. I'd rather have at least, see, people talk about the fact that Candace is jealous of Ashley for what? The only thing that Ashley has over Candace is that she has 2 children. That is it. Ashley had to marry for money. Candace didn't. Candace didn't have to marry for money. Let's keep it real. Ashley married that creep, that hobbit, that troll for money, and then Sheila got a house because of that. Candace's mama owns her house. Candace moms own her house, right? So what does Ashley have? What is the one thing that Ashley has that Candace possibly could want besides kids? Tell me that. Like, what would you rather have? a house or a tent that's probably blowing in the wind from under the bridge. Exactly. So yeah, next time people, I just be thinking to myself when people say Candace got to be jealous of Ashley. For what? Sheila lived in a motherfucking tent. But that ain't got nothing to do with this, right? Now, Ashley, girl, you go a little too far, right? I mean, she was telling her uncle Lump Lump that she has a prolapsed uterus. I was like, okay, interesting. Now, I didn't know that Ashley had a brother. I thought Ashley had a sister. I thought Ashley and and I thought Sheila and her bum ass man had a daughter. But hey, maybe they got a son too. Like y'all living in a tent with your kids. That's despicable. And you are able-bodied. I'm not going to go there, right? So she talks about, the fact that she has a nanny and that her nanny is a saving grace because, at one point she was just worried about Michael, the hobbit and the troll and what he was going to do. Like, girl, she's a female. She's a woman. I don't necessarily think Michael is like 100% into women like that, but hey, whatever you say, girl. So then she tells him about Michael wanting to do porn. Because that's the only thing I can think of. Him getting into doing movies. He wants to make porn. That's it. Period, point blank. So then, Ashley's talking about the fact that she learned from that disaster that was Oz. I would hope so. Because nobody wanted kangaroo meat then, and people don't want kangaroo meat now. And nobody wants to see you and Michael creating porn on top of that. So, yeah. We're going to move on. Yeah, the more I look at these notes, this filler. Wendy and Eddie. So, not much with Wendy and Eddie either on this front of the episode. So, Wendy and Eddie. You guys know Wendy is trying to do this home essential, right? And her candles. Now, you guys remember when she first mentioned it, Wendy didn't have anything prepared. Wendy just knew that she wanted to make a candle, right? Wendy didn't have a business plan. So in this episode, Wendy has, put together her business plan and she's presenting it to Eddie. So she presented it, and when she finished it, Eddie was like, that doesn't really sound like a business plan, right? It's kind of more like what your vision is, like a vision for what you want for the business. So then he asked her how much, what are the cost of goods, right? What's the cost of goods? How much does it, and I don't think she had the cost of goods. How much does it cost to make this? How much are you going to sell it for, like wholesale and retail? He didn't even mention wholesale or retail. He just said how much are you going to sell it for, but he asked her how much it cost of goods sold, what's the cost of goods, how much does it cost to make this, how much are you going to sell it for. He didn't even ask, like, where is it going to be made. Like, there are a lot of questions that need to be answered, right? Cost of goods, how much, everything that you need to make this, how much do they cost individually? Then, how much does it cost to make it? Also, she needs to know, where are you going to make it at? Like, who's going to make this for you? Like, where are you going to make it? Are you going to make it here in the States, or are you going to outsource it? Like, those are questions that I don't think Wendy, but a part of me feels like this might just be for storyline. I don't necessarily know, but I could be wrong. But she didn't know any of that stuff, right? Then he asked her, how much are you willing to cap out at? She said, what does that mean? He says, how much are you willing to pay out of pocket? And she says, no more than $50,000. So that is the one thing that I can say that Wendy did know, that she, with her business, that she doesn't want to cap out at $50K. So got it. Let's move on, I guess. Did I skip over Mia? All right, you guys. So let's move over to Karen. Now, Karen really didn't have anything in this episode, so I don't know how I'm going to make this even a minute. Because all that happened in this scene with Karen is the fact that Karen is talking to her publicist about her candle line, right? Karen's telling us, how she goes from development to this, to this, to this, to this. I'm like, okay, Karen, I guess if you want to say so, right? Still looks a little shady, right? That you didn't mention when you and Wendy were talking about it, like that would have been a prime example. That would have been a prime opportunity to actually really sit down with Wendy and just say, hey, I'm doing the candle line as well. So have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done X? Have you done this? Have you done that? Those that would have been a good opportunity for you to actually educate Wendy. But okay, I mean, I guess whatever, right? So Karen is also still talking about the fact that her candle is 3 wicks, which takes up a wider space, I guess, and Wendy's is 1 wick, which only takes up a certain area. Is that true? I don't know that to be true, right? Is that true? Let me know in the comments. I mean, I love candles. Because, I mean, even if it got 1 wick, like, it depends on the strength. I mean, doesn't it really depend on the strength of the candle, right? Because, I mean, you could light a candle in the living room and it can radiate throughout it could radiate, right? Depending on how big your place is. And I think that is really what it is. I don't know if the wicks have anything to do with it. Now, I could be wrong, and you guys can definitely let me know that in the comment section below. But what we're going to do now is move on. I'm really trying to make this. All right, guys, let's talk about Jen real quick, right? So Jen is in that closet. I'm like, girl, the FBI loves this, right? Like the money that you scam from the old people, they just love seeing that, right? Go for it. So she's talking to her nephew, and his name is Dwayne, I believe it is. And she said the family did an intervention with her when she and Sharif were going through a rough time. And she said, they're trying to work through it, right? So then Jen lost me, right? Because she said that her nephew called her saying that he wanted to get him and his family out of South Central LA. I guess that's what she was trying to say, right? So she said that she told him, okay, but she never responded back to him. But then later she called him. I'm like, girl, obviously he was asking for your help because for a reason, and you ignored him. That's why I say Jen is a shitty individual. So then she calls Heather on FaceTime to meet up with Heather. Heather didn't even bat an eyelash. She said yes. I'm like, girl, I would not meet up with Jen at all. So they met up at this ice castle. I was like, wow, that's interesting. I don't know if the scenery of Salt Lake City is so beautiful, right? It's beautiful, but I don't do the cold like that. Like, I'm not going to sit in the cold and freeze my balls off. Absolutely not. So Jen says that she went to check in on Heather. I'm like, really? After you call, but you just insinuated that this woman is a racist. But girl, go off. I guess. So Heather says that she wants peace, but she doesn't feel that they have that. And I'm like, you sure the fuck don't have that with not this Tasmanian devil. So Heather says that she has an issue with some of the things that Jen has said, right? Like comparing her to a manatee, comparing her to Honey Boo Boo, and calling her a racist. Jen never once apologized to this woman for any of that stuff, right? Jen said that wasn't her, but Heather's like, babe, I have a screenshot right here that says Jen Shaw right there, and that is you because it has the blue verified check mark on your social media. And especially the one about her being a racist, I saw that one. One of the Housewives blogs reposted that. I saw that. That was definitely you, Jen. Stop fucking lying. Jen has a terrible issue with taking accountability for anything that she says. And then, in the same breath, Jen started playing like she's the victim. Like, I'm a brown-skinned woman, and I just don't feel like I fit in with this group. I feel like... I'm like, you're really not brown-skinned, babe. You're pale. You're pale because you bleach your skin too much. But go off. I'm like, you never once apologized to Heather. You literally just sat there and flipped it and reversed it back on you. It's all about you. And then Heather is the one that's in here basically saying, oh no, Jen, it's not like that. I'm your friend. I'm like, Heather, she just Jedi mind tricked your ass. You wanted an apology from her, but you ended up apologizing to her for nothing. You didn't do anything to this damn woman. It's got to be insufferable being friends with the likes of Jen Shah. Bravo. Go ahead and do what y'all are already doing. Phase her out and bring Jenny in. I'm cool with it. I like Jenny. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Leave your comments in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. And hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop anything else, and share the video. Until the next one, you guys stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed. And I'm going to catch you guys later. Bye, guys. That sun is really shining. So let's talk about Gisele. It ain't much with her either, right? So Gisele, in this episode, we see her and Grace. Grace finally got her driver's license, right? I didn't like the way that Gisele said it, right? Because Gisele said, it took us 5 times, but she finally got it. I'm like, really? Gisele, you really don't know how to be there for anybody, do you? Like, you could have said, it took us a while to get here, but we finally got here nonetheless. But it took us 5 times. And Grace was like, you don't have to do that, Mom. Like, you really don't have to do that. She really did not have to do that. You could have just said, Grace, she passed her test. And it took us a few tries, but better late than never. Better late than never. It's all so easy. Like, you could have said something of that nature, but instead, you decided to go that route. I don't know why. Now, Grace, baby girl, the driving. I'm wondering if this is her first time actually being behind the wheel of a car, driving. Because it was very much given that. But even my first time behind the wheel of a car, I didn't choke up like that, right? Actually, that is a lie. I did. I choked. I thought about it. Because my first time behind the wheel of a car, it was in my mom's 2000 Toyota Corolla. It was in her Toyota Corolla. And, that was the point. She said, you know what, Jerome? Your uncle's going to have to teach you how to drive. Now, the reason why I choked in her car is because my mom drove nothing but stick shift. If you guys have never driven a stick shift car, don't. They're really not easy to drive. Well, actually, they can be. But, She was like, you are not going to tear my clutch up. Because I was like, I knew the brake, I knew the gas. I even knew where the clutch was. I just did not know how to I didn't know how to utilize it, right? I knew how to get us out of first. I knew how to get into reverse. That was easy. Reverse is the easiest thing in a stick shift car. In first gear, that's easy too. You just go down. Now going to second, actually I know how to get to all the gears. It's really easy. It's just knowing when to go into what gear. That's what's not easy to me. And she said, oh no, you're not about to tear up my car. And that's really what it was. It wasn't the fact that I hit anything. It was just the fact that the clutch and the stick shift, I just don't understand it. But hey, you live and you learn. I haven't driven a stick shift since then. But you know what they do say, that the stick shifts are better on gas than, it's so interesting, all right? Stick shifts are better on gas than an automatic car. Stick shifts are also cheaper than an automatic car. You know what? Maybe there will come a day where I'm going to try to teach myself how to drive a stick shift car. Maybe not. I don't know. But let's move on. All right, guys, and then lastly, let's talk about Candace and her video, right? So, the beginning of the episode, Dot is finally down there in Potomac, right? And it was in this scene, I was like, oh, God, I love my mom. But when me trying to get ready to build a house, I'm like, oh, God, me and her would butt heads, right? Because there are things about her style. I liked some of her style. And I will say she liked the way that I would, rearrange things, decorate things. She liked that. But we would bump heads. We would bump heads. I know it. And I'd be like, Geraldine, Mama, whose house is this? Whose name is on this house? It ain't yours. It's mine. Like, we would be like that. We would literally be like that. I'm like, this is my house, not your house. Mine. You don't decorate. You don't live here. I live here. Like we would do that. We would do that with my room. I'd be like, this is my room. I sleep here. The way that I want to decorate this room is my business. Oh my God. Long story short, right? One day she was at work and I completely had, because I'm all about feng shui, right? I like to, at a certain point, like I'll keep everything in place for a little bit of time, and then eventually I'm going to rearrange everything so that way it has a new feel. So I completely rearranged my room one day. I moved my bed, I moved the TV, I moved my desk, I moved everything. She came home, she was like, when did you do that? I was like, while you were at work? She was like, I wouldn't have did it like that. I'm like, well, that's the beauty of it. You don't sleep in here. I do. Because I put my bed by the window. She's like, I wouldn't have done that. I was like, well, that's between you and me. That's between me and my room, not you. So you don't have to like it. But she said, I do like it. I just want to put the bed right there. I'm like, well, I didn't ask you, but thank you. Thank you. I didn't ask you. So then we see Candace as she's meeting with her choreographer for the video shoot, right? So Candace is not the best dancer. We can agree on that one. I will say though, Drive Back, I love the song and I love the video. I know some of y'all don't want to hear Candace singing, but I like Candace's singing, right? So Candace spent $10,000 on the video, and I will say it was money well spent, right? And I know that at this point her YouTube channel is monetized, so I know that if people are still watching that video, she's making money from it. So congratulations to you, Candace, on that one, baby girl. And she has a new song out. I have not listened to it yet, so I'm going to go check that out at some point, right? So Chris calls to check on her. He says that the location is secure and that the cars are as well. Honestly, with Candace and Chris, I just really believe that they need to cut that manager relationship, not to mess up their marriage, right? So we see everyone show up to set. Candace is not there yet. We see Mia, we see Wendy, and we see Gisele show up first, right? And then Dot is there. So Candace finally does make it there to the shoot, right? They find out that the car, they tell her that the cars are going to be late, and at that point, they were losing the sunlight. So they need to figure something out, right? So Mia is super duper messy. She's asking Dot, is Chris coming? And Dot says she's not sure because when she left the house, he was there. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more, right? I love the fact that Karen was defending Chris, but Mia keeps chiming in, right? Because at one point, Dot was like, he says he's working from home, doing, catering, doing this, but she doesn't like. I mean, you can cater, you can cook, you can cater from home, and then in this digital world, like I know, like the school that I'm looking into going to, it's called the Art Institute, and they have a culinary class. They have a culinary school. Pretty much everything at this point is virtual, so I don't know why Dot feels some type of way, right? But whatever. Go on off. So then Mia goes one step further and asking, is Chris paid? What does it have to do with you? Like, why is that your business? Mia, mind the business that pays you. Well, that is this show, but girl, mind your business. What that got to do with you? Worry about if G gonna keep paying you. I was looking at Mia's face, and this is not to be funny, but I was looking at her makeup in this scene. Her face is her face over on this side. I was looking, I'm like, girl, your skin she has bad skin. Mia has bad skin, just saying that. Like, people, how people say crater face? I'm not saying, I might as well say it right, but her face was just her skin is bad. So a scholar, I'm here for a scholar, right? Because a scholar says, came up to Gisele and Robin, like, your friend over there's being real shitty right about now. They're like, what? She's asking about Chris. Is he coming? Is he getting paid? Like, what does it have to do with you? So Dot, she's been messy. She's talking to Gisele about this as well, right? And, Gisele told her what she said, that she feels that Chris is going to, she doesn't want Chris to ride Candace's coattails. And Dot says, thank you. It felt like he's trying to become a house husband. I'm just not feeling this, right? This is not, like, y'all are really sitting here talking about this girl's husband. Dot is the mother-in-law from hell. So Chris showed up. He was pissed off because the cars actually did not show up. So they just used other cars that was on the scene. Like they used Wendy's car, Ascala's car. Ascala looked beautiful, by the way. They used some other cars. and they make the video shoot work. And that's it, you guys. I don't know how I made this a long review, because I know it's long. But hey, like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop anything else. Share the video. Until the next one, stay safe, take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side. Bye, guys. Oh, the sun is moving.